Hello, everyone, and welcome to the RVing Show. I'm Luann Street with Design Your RV Life, formerly Where the Streets Wander, if that's how you knew me before. I'm embarking on a new journey with all my content, and as we move forward, I'm going to be doing more and more videos that will help you design your best RV life. So stay tuned. So this week, we're going to be talking about making those connections while we're RVing with the people back home. We need some creative ideas to stay, connected when we're out traveling and doing a lot of extended travel, whether you're full time or you go away for part, 3, 6 months out of the year, and you're missing those family members and friends, and you can't do the things that you always wanted to. So I just want to kind of address where I am. I'm actually tonight at my daughter's house, so that's why my new surroundings. I am helping out while her and her husband are having some time away, and I'm staying with the kids. And so this is a great topic for me because even though I'm here, I used a lot of these ideas when we were on the road full time, and will use them again when I start traveling more extensively. So you can also use these when you just go away for short trips to help the people in your life stay more connected to you as you travel, whether it's a long time or a short time. So go ahead and let me know you're watching with me live. And at the end of this, I want to hear about the ideas that you've tried to stay connected with your family and friends when you started your RV life. So I wanted to kind of backtrack a little bit and talk about that, that connection that you have at home is really hard to let go of when you want to travel extensively. There's that tug and pull at your heartstrings that is so impactful. In fact, a lot of people I've talked to really, really struggle with not wanting to leave especially their grandchildren behind, because you miss out on so much of their lives if you go travel full time. But here's the thing. If you don't live your life now, when are you going to live this lifestyle? You really have to be thinking about the combination of the two. How can you make it work so that you can be a part of their lives? And okay, I'm not going to lie to you. It's not the same. It's not going to be the same, but you can adapt and you can make it happen in a way that feels good for both you and the kids and family members in your life. So the first thing we're going to talk about, the one of the ideas is connecting with video and your phone, right? Now, we know we can talk on the phone to our kids and grandkids when we're traveling. But one step even more than that is, using your phone, whether you use Zoom or an app that's already on your phone. If you're iOS, there's FaceTime. If you're Android or Google, there's Duo. And it's really easy right from your phone. You can just dial up the other person and start talking to them. Now, with children, it's probably a little more difficult. I do have some older grandchildren, so they do have their own phones, and I can get in touch with them individually. But sometimes you might have to make a plan when you want to do it that way. When you want to connect with them, set up a time with their parents for the kids to be there. And then I know that a lot of you who have maybe done this before, pretty soon, the phone's upside down and you're, walking through the house with them. And so it's kind of an exercise in patience, but you are getting to see them and you are getting to interact with them. And that's just the start, right? There's so many more things that we can do. The second idea that I have for us tonight is connecting by mail. And I did this a lot. I mail, especially for the younger kids today, is something that is really almost obsolete for a lot of people. The younger children today don't really get a lot of mail. And when I tried this strategy with my grandchildren, I had one grandchild in particular think that this was the best thing ever, that they got mail from grandma and grandpa while we were on the road. So what I did is I went to the post office and I got postcard stamps and I kept them with me. So there was no excuse to mail them. And then when we would stop at cool and unique places, I would collect the postcards and I would address them individually to each child, and maybe one to, you know, your son and daughter-in-law, vice versa, or your friends. They would love to get snail mail from you. So keeping and being prepared is the key to the postcard strategy. But then they can collect these postcards over time and kind of visit with you through all the things that you traveled to, and you could use it as a connection point when you see them again to review and talk about your travels. So the next thing that I want to talk about is connecting online. So we talked about connecting through the phone, right? So the phone, whether audio or video with an app. The other thing is connecting actually online with Zoom or Skype or an app like that. We all now know in 2022 that the last 2 years, Zoom, Skype, all these online processes have been integral for a lot of our interactions with people, whether we had to work remotely, where the kids had to do school virtually, all the things that may have been a hassle. This tool can now be used to keep in touch with your family while you're on the road. Now, what I'd like to say about the Zoom chats or the Skype chats is, you know, you can also turn them into ways to connect with your teens and tweens. So your teens and tweens are a little bit harder. Maybe the postcards aren't a super great connection. Maybe you can't always get them on their phones or keep them on there for an extended period of time. But maybe what you could do is try to do a some sort of hobby together. Whether if you're into it, you could even play an online game with them and keep that going. It's your turn, it's your turn, it's your turn, and keep those going back and forth so you're interacting with them. The other thing, the hobbies that I thought of were, you know, you could create a Bible study and do that together. You could take a class online together where you guys talk about what the class is. For my granddaughter's birthday this year, I bought her a photography course, a digital photography, digital course for digital photography. And I have the course. And so that was her birthday present. And the idea is to both of us, you know, do a lesson and then talk about it and maybe share over Zoom, even though I'm I'm an hour and a half away from this family. So connecting over Zoom could keep us moving forward with our photography skills, as well as, you know, keep us connected in something in common so that we can keep that common ground. And you can do this with anyone in your life. You can do it with a friend where you guys maybe you scrapbook, and this has become a big deal. I scrapbook. And so I have a friend who, you know, hits up her friends and says, "Hey, I'm scrapbooking for the next 3 hours on Zoom. You want to join me?" And then, you know, you guys can talk while you're scrapbooking. You can talk while you're quilting. You can talk while you're playing, you know, or maybe do a chess game. Like, there's just so many things that you could think about and do that could create these connections and make these common interests stay and last, even though you're not together physically. So the next little idea, I really thought was a cute idea. I did not implement this yet with my grandchildren. They're getting a little bit older. This is great for little ones. I don't know if any of you remember the whole Flat Stanley thing. And you can see my glasses, you see all the glare in my glasses. So I'm sorry about that. The Flat Stanley thing that happened. So this was a school project. And so Flat Stanley was this little guy, and they cut him out and they put him on a popsicle stick. And then they had the children give it to their grandparents or to people in their lives. And that Flat Stanley would go and visit places. And then the children would write about those places. And that was a writing exercise, like for English and language arts. So you could take this into another way where maybe you want to you could totally do a digital cutout of the child on and put it on a popsicle, or you could have them pick out a really small, like Beanie Baby type stuffed animal, and they pick it out and they give it to you to go travel with. And when you're places, you take pictures of you with this stuffed animal and send it back to them, whether it's through the mail on the front of a postcard, because you can get those done digitally and then get them done for you. Whether it's, by texting it to their parents and then they can see it, or at the end of a specific time frame of travel, you could create a book, a digital scrapbook of those children, of those adventures that this child went on with you, and or your child's friend that went on with you. So these are all some really interesting things to do to keep that connection and keep it all alive for you and your family. It also will make it easier to leave if you're struggling with that, if you have these things set up. I actually have a course that I did that dives into this in great detail. These are just some of the ideas to get your juices flowing, but there's a whole emotional side to going full time and leaving your family and friends behind. And there's a lot of emotional dynamics that happen. And so I created it's actually a mini course. If you're interested, you can hit me up in the comments. Since I'm revamping my website, it's not readily available right this minute, but I can make it available. If it's something that you're struggling with and you want some more information on how to handle this emotional stuff, because it's a much longer conversation than just a 15-minute Facebook Live. So I just want to thank you guys for joining me today. And if you have enjoyed this video, I want you to hit subscribe if you're on YouTube, or hit the like button if you're on Facebook. But we're not done. I want to end up and talk about how, while all these are great ideas, and you may have had an aha moment and went, oh, that's cool, I'd like to do that. And ideas are all great, but unless you put action behind them, they're not going to make a difference for you. And I don't think you should do all of them. You may want to experiment. You may want to try one for a month, especially if you're going full time. The first month, maybe try video chats and scheduling them and getting them on the books, and, getting all of that set up so you can be intentional, because this segment, this little part of the video is all about being intentional. Because again, you can like the idea, you can think it's cool, but unless you put action behind it, go buy those stamps and go buy those postcards and actually write them out. I mean, I have 9 grandchildren, 9 postcards, 9 stamps, 9 writing to each one of them individually. It's a sacrifice, but then so is quality time with your family and friends. So I just want to talk to you about being intentional. And like I said, you could choose one, videos for a little while. Maybe you could switch to the postcards, or switch to doing that online course, or that online game, or that Bible study that you may want to do with them. Because as grandparents, and I'm speaking specifically now to grandparents, of your grandchildren want to connect with you, and you have a lot to give them. But doing it intentionally through a video with a purpose and a plan is a really, really impactful thing for you to do. So I also want to talk about how you could also do coin collecting and stamps. Those are kind of dying out. You don't hear about those hobbies as much, but it gives you something to talk about. So it really could be collecting anything. And I was thinking more from the perspective of when you're RV, you don't have a lot of things with you. So that's something to consider. Okay. So I'm going to dive into the comments now, and I want to talk some more about these ideas. And I would love to hear from you if you have tried some things and how they've worked for you as you've traveled and done, these interactions with people back home. Karen says, hello from Spartanburg. Hello, Karen. Debbie Farrell says she's still in the planning stages. Yes. So that, this is something that you can do. You can plan for it now. You can even talk to your family and find out which one of these ideas do they like? Get their input on it. It doesn't have to be all about you. Donna is also from South Carolina. Hey, Donna, just right up the road from me. Right now I'm in Asheville. So yeah. Terry says hi from Charlotte. Hey there. And Sylvan says from New York. She says hello. Debbie says, this is a big one. My sister calls and talks to her 2-year-old and her 1-year-old grandkids who live 5 hours away. The 2-year-old knows her as Mimi, even though she's only seen them a couple times. She even tells her mom and dad to call Mimi. But you are right. Sometimes my sister sees the ceiling and the floor frequently. Yes. So my 2 youngest grandchildren, they like to FaceTime me. And it's true. It's like, oh man, they're running down the hallway with the iPad in their hand. So it's kind of funny. Oh, Deb says, hi, Luann, love the stuffed animal idea. My 6 grandkids range from 2 to 16. You kind of sound like me. Yeah, same thing. And you need to have a strategy that will fit their age, a little bit, and kind of work that out as you make your plans. Kelly says, howdy from Canyonville, Oregon. Hello, Kelly. Daniel says, I'm thinking about making a flat Don and Pat and take pictures of where they are at the time. That's perfect, Daniel. I love that idea. Yes. Ship to Shore says, Zoom happy hour. See, leave it to Brad. He's totally bringing it back to the adults, which is great because, yeah, a lot of us are leaving our community behind. Like you may be in a church group, a life group, a cocktail hour group, a book club, right? And just because you're going to travel doesn't necessarily mean those things have to stop. So that's great. I'm so glad that you said that. Yeah, Zoom happy hours with friends to catch up, see you face to face. Seeing the face is way better than just hearing the voice on the phone. And Donna says she's near Hartsville in South Carolina. I don't know where that is. I'll have to look that up. And Kelly says, Google Duo is great for my elderly mom who does know how to answer her, who does or doesn't know how to answer her phone anymore. We do video chats at least once per week. Yes, right. Stay connected. Keep the faces in front of it. That's awesome. That is awesome. That's great. Well, guys, I really appreciate you taking the time to be with me this week. I love hearing your comments and your suggestions. And yeah, we're getting ready to, hit the road for summertime. Even if we've been full-time before, and I'm talking about those of you who are full-time, you may have been stationary for longer or even have gone back to be with grandchildren. I know when Brian and I wintered, a lot of times we would go to Florida and spend some time with the grandkids who were in Florida because it was warm down there and it was the perfect time to do that. And we got extended visits. So, but looks like we got a couple more comments. Zoom Bible study with our home church. Yes, yes. And then Kelly says doesn't, right. She doesn't answer the phone. So the Duo works really well. I'm shocked at how well Duo really works. If you guys haven't ever used Google Duo before, if you're an Android person, you can actually put the people that you want to call as an icon on your phone. And all you have to do is hit it and it dials that person. You don't have to go into the Duo app and look through people in order to do it. It can be just one person. So it is a great solution for elderly people. Okay, great. Well, guys, thanks for joining me. We'll be back at the same time next week. And I think I was going to tell you what my topic is. Let me see if I can find that. Important reasons why you should not full-time. Are any of you getting ready to go full-time? Just let me know in the chat. And I want to go over some important reasons of maybe why you shouldn't make the choice. So, all right, guys, it's been great. And I'll see you next week, same time, same place. Take care and have a great one.